Evening all, how are we doing? Trying landscape tonight. Let me know how it is on the phone. I don't see many people doing it. Is my mic alright? Yeah. Mina Mo, thank you very much. Appreciate the feedback. Upgraded the PC today, so I wasn't sure if I plugged everything back in the way I should have done. Caleb, how you doing, buddy? You right? Glad to hear it. I should have done a video to say I was online. Probably missed the boat, haven't I? Got 33 years pension in local government. Do you think SIP is the best way to draw it? Won't that be defined benefit pension? In which case, probably not, but you absolutely should get financial advice. Gonna take it out. What do you mean by SIP, buddy? From my understanding, and I've never worked for the local government, is it's a defined benefit pension, i.e. the number of years you've worked there, which is 33 by the looks of it. But basically for every year you get like, I don't know, a 50th of your average salary or something as a guaranteed income for life. I don't think you can really beat that, but a financial advice, professional financial advice would be useful. Follow THG share price much? I don't, Connor. Is it moving? THG as in like the entertainment company used to make like computer games as well. How do I filter these? Do I think Nvidia will hit 200 by the end of the year? I've no idea. No idea. Don't really get bogged down in individual stocks. Personally, I think SIP is a bad idea. A few friends have cashed in early to get a lump sum early. Oh, I see what you mean, Caleb. You're talking about transferring it out using your cash equivalent transfer value, right? And then being able to manage it yourself. You have to do that with a professional as well. So I'm surprised they're like even being allowed to do it. Like, it's up to you, but from what I've heard about these pensions, they're really, really good. Do-do-do. The Hut Group. Oh, okay. And the likes that look fantastic, my protein, etc. Right. I can't say I do pay much attention to it. Like I said, I don't really get involved in the individual stocks and stuff. It's too much to keep on top of. It's like I just pick an ETF and that's it. I don't have to worry about it anymore. But I get why people do. Like that's where you can make a lot of money, right? But that's also how you lose money. Hey Jordan, was it easier to make the decision to drop 1/5 of your salary because of your social media income? It actually wasn't a deciding factor. So I was willing to give up the pension contributions. So if you don't know, I was earning 120k plus on-call money, and I basically put everything over 100k, with the exception of a few grand, into my pension to get my take home basically to just under 100k, so I could qualify for childcare hours and stuff. And then I also took 2 weeks unpaid leave. What I've done now is drop to 4 days a week, which drops my actual salary to 96k, and then I still get the 6.5 for being on call, because I'll just be on call on Mondays, every other Monday still, because we rarely get any call outs. However, if I continue to make this money, I will put in, or try to put in, I don't know, 1,250 quid a month into my pension, because I've dropped my pension contributions down to £500 basically a month from 1750. So my take home will be almost identical, and so therefore it doesn't really have a bearing. I was willing to take the pension hit because I probably won't go part-time forever, right? But for as long as I'm at my current company, at least, whether that's another year or 2, 3, 4, 5 years, it would be nice to just have that extra time. And ideally I can build this out so it generates enough money that I could go down to 3 days or not have to worry about it at all and do it full time like some of the other guys. But we'll see. It certainly helps in terms of, I know my pension doesn't have to take a hit if I don't want to, but it wasn't a kind of deciding factor. Do you think cybersecurity funds is a good bet for long-term investing? It's not something I look at. I just go for traditional global ETFs. But if you were trying to get into cybersecurity as a career, I would say that area is only going to grow. So I guess from that logic, maybe. Do you know there are loads of duplicate accounts of yours? Reese, unfortunately, I do. There are probably 200, maybe more. I do a search every week, at least once a week, for Mark Personal Finance, exactly how I have it formatted for my name, and it throws up a few extras that have either forgotten to block me or have unblocked me so they can copy my content, but it's virtually impossible to keep on top of. What do you think of Chase bonus save on 4.75% easy access paid monthly? It's a pretty good rate, considering the base rate's at what, 4% now? Just bear in mind that you have to pay tax depending on how much you earn in interest. Obviously, you still need an awful lot of money in there to pass the threshold, but just something to be aware of. So I tried to go live on YouTube as well, and big fat zero over there at the moment, so going well. I've just put in 17k. Will I have to pay tax on that? If you've just dropped in 17k, let's have a look. 475, that's £807.50. So assuming you're a basic rate taxpayer, i.e. you earn less than 50 grand or 50,270, then no, you won't have to pay tax on it. If you're a higher rate taxpayer, then that £1,000 limit, it drops to £500. So then you would pay tax on some of it. In which case then, yeah, 40k, in that case, Caleb, you're fine. What amount should I sacrifice for a 65k salary? I pay 5, employer pays 12. Run some numbers. Use my calculator, it's free. I don't know if I've got it scrolling along the bottom there. You can grab a spreadsheet version or just run the numbers on my spreadsheet on my website. See what you're going to end up with or what you could end up with. If you're not happy, put it up. If you want to avoid 40% tax, if that's the question, then you would need to salary sacrifice £14,730 to stay at basically 50,270. But also life's for living, right? It's about getting the right balance. Caleb, you're welcome, buddy. Chip, good evening. Should I increase the risk profile of my pension or in my 30s? I think the general consensus is the further away you are from when you plan to take your retirement or access your pension, the higher percentage of equities you should have. So I'm 40 now and I'm still like 95% equities, I think, in my pensions. And I don't see that changing anytime soon. But it's all about your risk profile. A lot of them will ask you questions about how you feel about it and give you like a risk score and then align your products to how you actually feel about money, not just how you think you do. I can't remember what platforms I've done that on. Maybe Aegon and Standard Life. They had pretty good like quizzes almost to find out what your risk profile was like. How much interest can I earn tax-free? Sorry, Caleb, did I not say? It's £1,000 for a basic rate taxpayer, and then it's 500 if you're a higher rate taxpayer. And I'm pretty sure if you pass 100k, that goes to zero. So for now, you're £1,000. And that's not per account either. That's like interest on all savings, current accounts, or whatever throughout the financial year. No worries, no worries. Got a few people joining for my post. Have I got a post doing the rounds again? I've only put one out today. Vince, thank you for the follow, buddy. So I go part-time in, 2 weeks? 2 and a bit weeks. So I'm going to start live streaming on a Monday. Potentially all day. But I don't know how that will go down. Hence why I tried to go on YouTube as well. Do you reckon they'll bring in second property tax? I mean, they could do. But like, how many people will that really affect? I don't know. It's not something I have to worry about, thankfully. But there's your DevOps content. I wish there was more practical stuff of it. Well, I could get back to that DevOps stuff. I don't know whether you follow this account already as well. But I go part-time. I got all day Monday. I'm going to be not working soon. And so the plan is to try and either increase my content, but maybe get back into the tech stuff. So maybe I'll mix it up. Maybe I'll do some finance streams. Maybe I'll do some tech streams. I can see the market slumping now and sales take longer to complete. Yeah, it feels that way. The prices don't seem to be moving, but it seems altogether slower. Sorry to ask, but do you have a salary sacrifice calculator on your site? No, I don't, AJ. But my pension projection calculator assumes salary sacrifice. In that, whatever you put in your pension, it just takes the whole lot. But if you want to, I'm sure there are calculators out there. And maybe that's what I'll do. I'll build some more calculators onto my website. But if you go on to salary takehomepaycalculator.co.uk, I think it is, they have a good calculator on there where you can opt to have your pension contributions as salary sacrifice. It's a bit more in depth. Do you think the pension private age would have increased from 57 or want to retire well before then? Chip, I almost definitely, yes, it almost will. Almost definitely will, sorry. It's just as to when, right? What age did you say you were? I think you said you were 50, so it won't affect you. I wouldn't have thought. They gave a pretty good lead time, didn't they, on the change from 55 to 57? Like, I feel like I've known about that for a long time. How's your 3D print going? I'd be lying if I said I used it a lot. But again, with a whole day to myself, who knows what I could do. I actually printed off something pretty cool for my stepson recently. And it's like a Monopoly holder. He's obsessed with it, playing Monopoly. And it's got like holders for your property cards and then like holders for cash as well. But I only printed it in black, and I've got loads of different reels of different colours. But because I don't have the multiple colour attachment, because that was like another 250 quid, it's a bit of a ball ache changing the colours all the time, so I need to do that. But I've done a few things. I've got I can't pick it up because I'm recording on it, but my DJI Osmo Pocket 3 comes with, you can get loads of 3D prints there. These keyboards, I 3D printed those actually. Tell a lie, see? I did use it. I did 6 of those. So I can put all my keyboards up. My Steam Deck and stuff. So I have been using it actually, but only recently. Right, let me just catch up again. Legal and general calculator, not great. No, I don't think it is. Taxes done right. Thank you for the follow. For those of you who are watching it in landscape on your phones, does it look alright? Is the text size okay? Like, can you read what's going along the bottom, or is that just gobbledygook? I'm 55 in April. Should I take my lump sum? Robert, if you need the money, then yes, I guess take it. But like, a lot of people take it to clear their mortgage. A lot of people take it to give it to their kids whilst they're still alive. So if you've got a need for it, great. If not, and you don't need to touch it because you've got, say, an ISA or something, then you could leave it invested. No, I need to automate it. Automate more 3D printing. Yeah. Well, I do it via the app. That's about as automatic as it gets, but I could probably reach and touch it from here. So it's currently on the floor at the moment. I had it on, you can't see it, but I've got a tool unit there, but the whole thing used to like wobble. It needs a fairly firm table. I'd like to do like a little 3D printing business, to be honest, but everyone's doing it now. They've been very, very helpful tonight. Thanks. Caleb, appreciate it. Got to go, but thanks. Enjoy your stuff. Chip, thank you. Appreciate you stopping by. Seems fine. Okay on both screens. Thank you, Caleb. Cheers, buddy. What would you say the priority should be for someone early 20s who wants to retire early? If you're in your early 20s, I would suggest obviously getting yourself sorted in terms of any debt and whatever get an emergency fund under your belt of a few months just in case you lose your job. But then I would say some sort of equal weighting between your pension to make sure you're getting as much as you possibly can out of your company. So some of them will say, if you put in 5, we'll put in 8. Like the bare minimum is you have to put in 5, they'll put in 3. But a lot of companies are much more generous than that. So at least max that bit out, for like forever. And then you could divert to like a stocks and shares ISA. Depends how early you want to go. Like you don't need a massive ISA if you are only retiring a couple of years before you can access your pension. But if you want to go at say 50 or even earlier than that, then you're going to need a considerable sized ISA. But I would absolutely not give up the free money you can get from your employer via the pension, never mind the tax relief and what have you. Hey Bob, 320k pot at 47, cleared mortgage, better with work pension or stock ISA? Depends when you want to retire. Again, similar to the previous guy. You are better off always. I've run the numbers many times. You're better off because of the tax relief and employer contributions of putting money into a pension. The only caveat to that is if you need to access it before you can, if you need to retire or want to retire before you can access the pension, then you need something in an ISA. Currently overpaying to pension, beyond company match, 17.5% total. I'm putting into ETFs monthly. Reese, then at that point, I would just try and run some numbers in terms of what your ISA is going to end up looking like and what your pension is going to end up looking like, because you might find that you've got loads of money locked away in a pension that you could redirect into an ISA. Because you're so young, you might want to retire in your 40s and you wouldn't want it locked away for potentially another 15, 20 years. So I would just say run the numbers and adjust accordingly. No worries, Reese. No worries. I should have set up a scene. I could have done some live pension projections. What's the time? 9 o'clock. I didn't consider this, but I'm competing with Champions League football at the moment, aren't I? Thought it was a bit quiet. Given most of my audience are guys. Bob, got 200k to invest. Thoughts on ETF versus individual stocks? I could not possibly advise you either way, but putting money into individual stocks feels risky. The worst mistake I ever made was stop mining for Bitcoin when it came out. Caleb, I was at an event with about 15 finance creators yesterday at like the Formula One arcade in London. If you've never been, it's incredible. And we were talking about Bitcoin because it was about some upcoming stuff about crypto. And we were saying like when we first heard about it, and I read like an article in like a PC magazine or tech magazine or something talking about mining, and I think the Bitcoin price at the time was like $1.90 or something stupid. And you could probably just buy a GPU and mine them yourself at that point. And yeah, mistakes were made. But I also said, whilst I could have got in early, even if I'd have had 10 or 100 Bitcoin, there's no way I'd have held. There was no way. I was in a lot of financial difficulty in my 20s and 30s. I just wouldn't have held long enough. It would have gone to like $100 and I'd have sold and still would have been no. I wouldn't have been rich. 44 with 80k pension. What total percent should I do now to catch up? Lady T, that depends what you want to get to. What are you already putting in? If you want, I can't share my screen because I didn't set up the scene, but I can run the numbers using my pension calculator. If you want to let me know either your salary and how much you're putting in or just how much you're putting in, and I will fudge the numbers to make it work and let you know. Right. The cost of electricity was more expensive. Oh, right, I see what you mean. So yeah, it didn't make sense, right? Because it would cost you more than it would to mine. Yeah. I guess people just got lucky, right? Oh, Cap, there you go. Can I pin a comment? Oh, nice. Let's do that. I'm going to do yours, Cap. There you go, 32. Current salary, 38k. You've got 33 in there at the moment. You put in 7, work do 9. Let's have a look. Oh, well, how old are you? 32. When do you want to retire? Retire 60. That's harder than you think. The chat moves so quick. Okay, so when you get to 60, I've got 3 columns on my thing. So my middle column is 4% growth, and that would shows around £425,000, which, if you used 4%, would give you like 17 grand annual income. Or if you did 5%, that would be just over 21. If you took the lump sum though, that would reduce it quite a lot. So if you can increase it a little bit, if that's enough, or work a couple of extra years, then that would help. Bought 4K PC when it first came out and started to mine from day one. Caleb, did you actually mine some as well? I'm about to get 115k inheritance advice. Ryan, how old are you? What are your plans for retirement? What about pre-97 GMP pension? Got 60k stuck in one and Aviva won't accept a transfer. I've literally no idea, buddy, unfortunately. I'd speak to a pension advisor. Around for 24 hours, of course, the electricity was more. Love took 60, would probably be 65. Yeah, so those numbers were, what, 425k? And if you went to 65, that jumps up to 550k, and that's going to make a considerable difference, right? Because then you're only a couple of years away from state pension. Depends what you need to live on as well. There are so many factors. Like these calculators I do, they're so basic, they don't take into account a lot of things. $88k with work, 5%, and I put in 8%. Right, lady, I think I've got enough. Lady T, right, 44, 188k. Find your comment. Keeping on top of these comments is hard when they're moving. 44 with 80k pension. 5 and 8. 5%, 8%. Right, Lady T, this is yours. Okay, so did you give me a retirement age? Don't know if you did. But I'm going to stick to 65, right? So 65, assuming kind of my middle column, the 7% growth with 3% inflation baked in. It's around 580k, which would give you, if you just took down 4%, would give you like 23 grand. Or if you took the tax-free lump sum, it would only give you 17. But obviously then you're only a couple of years away from state pension. Good chance of increasing my salary in the next 3 to 5 years as well. Cap Jim. Yeah, I think do what you can comfortably afford. But if you can, every time you get a pay rise, if you can like not take it all for yourself and try and apportion some of it. Let's say you get a 3% pay rise. If you can put an extra 1 or 2% into your pension and then take a little bit as like a reward to yourself. That's how I started to build mine up. Chasmas, is there an amount you recommend per month for Vanguard? Like what amount isn't worth it? I would say investing is always worth it. Like you've got to start somewhere. Like if that's just 25 quid a month or whatever, that's fine. It's not going to grow to a massive, massive amount of money, but start somewhere. It's good to build the habit. I encourage everyone to invest, even if it's just a little bit. You learn some valuable lessons. Luke, thank you for the follow, buddy. Any creators in here? Do you know if I can filter this chat so I don't get a notification every time somebody joins? Live chat. Let's have a look. Oh, new viewers. Let's turn that off. There we go. Job done. Burt Bone, how you doing, buddy? A lot of people don't know the difference between SP and PP. The education system worries me. I'll be honest, I don't know what you're talking about. SP and PP, am I being stupid? Missing some context there, I think, buddy. Have a SIP share scheme through work. I do that. Also has 28k in currency. What are your thoughts on them? Is that literally buying shares in your own company? This came up on a live. Recently, and I don't like them. I know they're great. Okay, so saying I don't like them is probably not true. I don't like using them and then holding the shares because I don't know how long. I've never been a part of a company where you can do it, but if you are buying shares in the company that employ you, and that company obviously then also pays your bills, and anything happens to that company, it's a lose-lose, right? If you can buy them discounted and then sell them and realize the gains immediately, I think that's a great idea. And then divert it into, a more sensible ETF or something. I think that's fine. But I wouldn't want to be heavily invested in the company that also pays my bills. I guess unless you work for like a ridiculous company that you can't ever see going anywhere, but you just never know. Well, I wouldn't want to be that reliant. State pension and personal pension, right? Yeah, it's when I do things about private pensions, I've done a few, like here's how I'd budget a 25 grand private pension, and people are like, well, I don't get that much, I get 11,000, I'm on the old state pension. It's just like, people on TikTok, no offense to anyone in here, are challenged. The comments I get on here, I'm having an argument in one of my videos at the moment about part-time hours and how that works for bank holidays, and this person's absolutely adamant that the government website says I'm wrong. ChatGPT says I'm wrong, and therefore I must be wrong. But I've got a contract that says I'm right, and I checked ChatGPT this evening, and it backs up what I'm saying. But people are either just really good trolls, and he's got me hook, line, and sinker, or people are more stupid than you think. Yeah, but the word count is not great, especially in these live chat scenarios. I guess it's so you don't take up too much of the screen, but it's less than harmful. Not a peep on YouTube. Not a peep. Doesn't bode well, does it? Everyone's watching the footy. Who will be around on a Monday? I assume you'll all be at work. But my plan is to start live streaming during the day on a Monday. Maybe I'll get my YouTube viewers then, because people will just have me on like a second monitor, just listening. Any questions? Any more pension projections? I can't share my screen because I didn't set up the view, but I don't mind running the numbers. I thought follower goal wasn't even visible. It's handy, isn't it? What an idiot. There you go. Might be able to see it now. Alexander Usyk. I've never had that before. Thanks for stopping by, Daniel. Evening. If you're just stopping by, let me know if you want a pension protection. Can't share my screen, but I can run the numbers. Opinions on Moneybox. Hey Connor, how's it going? Specifically Lifetime ISA. I've got a Lifetime ISA on Moneybox, funnily enough. Problem with Lifetime ISAs are I can't get them until you're 60, which kind of makes it worse than the pension. So obviously you get the 25% bonus, but you can only put in 4K, I guess. And then you can't get it until you're 60. So I haven't run the numbers for a while comparing those with like a stocks and shares ISA and a pension, but I'm pretty sure it came third regularly. Do you receive tax credits? Mazza, no, I don't, mate. No, I get childcare stuff because I get keep my salary below 100k, but not like actual working tax credits, if that's the thing. We don't get those, no. Or for your first house. Sorry, Connor. Yes, for your first house, it's fine. The money box one, that's why I did it, but then we ended up buying a house. I've only ever bought one house, and that was outside of the bloody, like the limit was like 400k or 425, and our house was more, so I couldn't use it. So I didn't, but I kind of knew that was going to be the case, so I didn't bother putting much money. I've got like a tenner in there or something stupid like that. I opened it based on Martin Lewis telling me I needed to do it before I turned 40. Child credits. Yeah, so Mazza, so I don't get, I'll tell you what I do get. That might be easier. I get the childcare hours, like the free childcare hours, so 30 hours now. And my nursery apparently is pretty good at it because they spread it out for the whole year rather than just give me term time stuff. So I get 22 hours per week, which covers exactly 2 days for us. And then we just pay for the third day. So my bill has dropped from, it varies how many working days. So she goes 3 days a week. And so it varies between like 12 to 15, I think, or 12 to 14. And we were paying between like 925 and like close to 1,200 quid. And now my bill is maybe 330, 325. And so we use the tax-free childcare account. We just put in like 275 quid in there each month. That gets topped up 25%, and then we use that to pay. So yeah, my bill has dropped massively, but only as of the start of September. Bish 56 pot at 33. So look, how much are you putting in? I either need to know your salary and the percentages, or how much you're putting in if you don't want to share your salary, and when you want to retire. Yeah, it is a result, Mazza. I wasn't expecting it to drop so much. I thought maybe the bill might like go to around 600 because I've been reading it was worth like £300 a month, but like my nursery has spread it, like I said, but also they don't charge us for like consumables, which is potentially a mistake for them, like in terms of business. But if they're making enough, they're just an independent nursery, so they probably don't have like the overheads of the franchises and stuff like that. But yeah, we've been very, very fortunate. 68k Bish. Okay, let's have a look. 68k, 5%, 8 planned 67, but hopefully earlier. Let's have a look. I'll show you. It all depends, obviously, how much you need to retire on, right? At 67, 872k potentially. Okay, so that's I always use my middle column, which is the 4% one, which is actually 7% growth with 3% inflation baked in. So based on that, 872k. If you were to take the tax-free lump sum, that'd be around 218k tax-free, plus an annual income of 26k if you use 4%. But at 67, you'd pretty much have the state pension as well. So if you needed a bit less than that, you could say, let's go at 64. If you didn't take the tax-free lump sum but still took 4%, then that gives you 30k a year. So they're the sort of numbers you could be looking at. Patty Pal, if you had 50k, what would you do with this investment-wise? If I had 50k right now, honestly, I'd probably take a year out. That's my genuine. I would invest it in time. I don't know what, something switched in the past year or so, I think, around time and dropping down to 4 days a week. I just cannot wait. I cannot wait to get 52 days extra or whatever it works out at of free time to do what I want, spend with whoever I want, etc. So yeah, 50k would probably be enough take home pay to cover a year's worth of expenses. But my actual answer, if you want to know, would be to put it into my pension. If you want me to actually invest it. But it felt nice to see that first bill. Mate, I couldn't wait. Could not wait. I did a video on it straight away, so I knew it would do numbers. Yeah, it was good. Thinking 20k stocks and shares ISA. Yeah, Patty, it's got to go in via the ISA, but then probably my pension. Right. I don't really have a massive ISA, and I'm not going to need one. I think I'll work until about 2 years before I can access the pension. So I don't need a huge ISA, assuming my mortgage gets paid off. Bish, you're welcome, buddy. Thank you for stopping by. But yeah, if you think if I put 50k into my pension, that's worth. I get another 40% on top of that because of my tax relief. Then so that's automatically turns that 50 into 70k, and then gets invested. Like, it's a lot of money. You're welcome, Patty. Appreciate you stopping by and contributing. Whoever's spamming the likes, thank you. DIY with Jamie, thank you for the follow, buddy. I don't know if you guys can see or whether, but on the top right, where I'm pointing here, all your stuff is showing up there as well. Don't know if that's visible to you or not. Which I guess makes it quite handy if you're full screening it. Harry Kane still haunting Chelsea. It's back to brace tonight. I had 80k in my works pension. I only get £100 per month. What, Daz, have you now retired? 80k isn't much, to be fair. You're not retired. I only get £100 per month. What do you mean? You're only putting in £100 per month? Shows at the side, but people joining pushes comments away. Oh, are you still seeing? Oh yeah, of course, they're still on there. So I've managed to filter it. So I've got like a window to the side, and I've managed to filter it there. But if I can filter that, that would be handy. Chat box. New viewers. Yes, I can. Likes, gifts, comments, subscriptions. I don't think I even have subscriptions turned on. And always keep active. Okay. I sorted it. It's not going to disappear now though if nobody comments. Let's I'll change that again. So that fades it out. Okay, sweet. So we've got the same now. I probably don't even need the chat window now. I could just use that. Every day's a school day. It's the first time I've done the landscape. I'll crack out some gaming streams when I've got my free Mondays. I've got my new rig set up. Upgraded the lot. It's an absolute beast. No, I had 80k in my pot and took it out at 55. At 10k tax free, but only £100 a month. I mean, I think, yeah, that makes sense though. So if you had 70k left over, that's a pretty low rate. Was it a defined benefit? I mean, that makes sense. To be fair, if you'd have got advice, I wonder if they'd have suggested you transferring it, because at 80k, or 70k even, if you took out 4%, that would have given you 2,800 a month, a year, sorry, which would have been like, I mean, it's still not a lot of money, but it's closer to £250 a month, or 233 it is exactly. So not loads, but then obviously it's in drawdown, you're having to manage it yourself, and so it's whether or not you would have been up for that. But have a play about of any crypto at all? Connor, I don't, but there's big changes coming to the UK market soon. You're going to be able to invest in crypto via a lot of the big platforms. So it's happening in October, which is part of the event I was at yesterday. And there's going to be these things called ETPs, which is basically like an ETF, but for crypto. And I think the first two coming are Bitcoin and Ethereum. Because there's a lot of them already in Europe where you can buy, they're like proper like global ETFs where they've basically got, I don't know, top 50 crypto things in, and you can invest in there. So don't touch it now. I did invest 4 or 5 years ago in Bitcoin and Ethereum. It dropped like 50% overnight. I let it recover and then I sold out because it was too much, and I couldn't afford it either. I just thought I'd try and ride the train making money, but it didn't work. However, when I can do that and I can invest via my SIP, I will 100% make like 5 or 10% of my portfolio crypto related. Nothing major, like going for things I don't understand, but like Ethereum, Solana, maybe Bitcoin. They're the ones I know the most about. Christos, how are you doing? Setup looks class. Cheers, mate. First time trying landscape. Getting ready for my Mondays, mate. Cannot wait. I need to get the old Stream Deck. Is it a Stream? It's not a Stream Deck. Doesn't have any shortcuts for TikTok Studio, which is annoying. When you retire, are you planning to take an annuity or take it as you need it? I'm not planning on taking an annuity, but it will depend what the rates are like. It's entirely possible that if the rates are good, I would use a portion of it to buy a guaranteed income, even if it was like 10 grand a year, to know that I've got something to fall back on. So like if if the worst should happen and I run out of money between me retiring and the state pension, then I know when I get to state pension age, I've got 10 grand plus whatever the state pension is, and that'll be enough to live on. And obviously my wife's state pension as well. So it's entirely possible I would spend some of it on that and then the rest be a bit more flexible and draw down and stuff. But I don't know. Like, the annuity rates are reasonable at the moment. Like, you can get a decent income, but equally, for the most part, it dies with you, which I wouldn't want. Daz, it is shit, but I mean, that is 60k. You got to think though, Daz, that is for life. If you live for a long time, I mean, you would have to I mean, to be fair, you've actually been stitched up now I think about it. It's not even 2%. Can you not do anything about it and get it moved now? Your fake profiles need to leave me alone. Sam, I know. I've got at least 200. It happens to all of us finance creators, unfortunately. Fellas Finance, if you're still in, will attest to that. I speak to a lot of the guys on a regular basis, and the biggest bugbear we have on TikTok is people copying our stuff and trying to scam people. Our annuities inflation matched. Must admit, I don't know much about them. So Cap, you've got quite a few options. It's not just like, oh, buy an annuity, get this income. You have to. There's loads of options. So you're like, do you want it to be adjusted for inflation? Okay, well, we'll drop it down a little bit, or to begin with, and then it will grow over time or match inflation. Or would you like your spouse to receive some if you die before, or once you die or whatever, and then it knocks down a little bit more? Like, there are quite a few options. Like, I'm certainly not an expert on it, but I've played around with like Legal and General and Standard Life have calculators, and you can go through the whole thing and just say, right, I've got £500,000. I want to do this. I want to take it at this age. Do I want all my tax-free lump sum, or don't I? Do I want my wife or my spouse to have it, or if I die, or don't I, etc., etc. And it basically gives you a number. So it gives you a reasonable amount of flexibility up front, but once it's in place, it's fairly fixed until you die. And they're just gambling on you dying, basically, which is a bit morbid, but that's how they make the money. Oh, it's crystallized. Okay, Dan. Daz, yeah, I mean, that's not ideal, is it? Cheers, Sam. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, it's a pain in the backside. People are getting scammed and TikTok won't do anything about it. On the flip side, my Instagram, I pay like £8 a month to be verified on there. And if anything crops up and I report it, they are removed within minutes. It's brilliant. And I just hope TikTok do something the same at some point. Wait till you're 55, you'll be shocked. Well, Daz, I don't have a final salary or defined benefit pension, so I will know and be in control of how much I get. May look into it more. Yeah, Cap, it's worth looking into, like Cap Jim. It depends like what your risk appetite is like, right? Like, same with all things. If you want to manage it yourself and deal with the ups and downs of the stock market and be uncertain how much you're going to be able to take out one year to the next, then that's what drawdown gives you. But if you're unhappy with that and you just want a fixed income for the rest of your life and you don't worry about the rest of it, plus you still get your tax-free lump sum if you want it, then people just don't want the stress. Like, if you can guarantee yourself, say, 20 grand a year, no matter what, plus the state pensions on top and stuff, that's a reasonable kind of living for retirement. So I get why people do it. It's that comfort. I'm not dead against them, especially at the current rates. I've had a fair few messages from the fake Neil Invest account. Some of a fair few followers. Yeah. Connor, it took a while. I had 2 of mine that had more followers than me. Obviously, Neil doesn't have that issue now. He's at 100k, I think. But yeah, when I was in the mid 20,000s, I had a couple that were sat at like 30k, and that makes it really difficult. And Neil's, in fact, shared an example where someone messaged him after they sent money to a scammer and showed them videos that they were being sent over WhatsApp, and it was like deep fake stuff. So they had trained the AI on his actual videos and then deep faked conversations saying, yeah, of course it's me, you can trust me, blah, blah, blah. It was crazy. I've never seen anything like it. And we're just regular guys. Like, I met Neil yesterday for the first time in London, and yeah, we're just normal guys making content on social media, and people are like faking engagements and stuff. Like, it's just weird, sending videos over WhatsApp, and it's just, there are no lengths they won't go to scam people. Just if they put this much effort into a job or a career, they'd probably do pretty well. Do they buy accounts with followers? I think they just they set up new accounts and then pay like for like bot follows, because if you go onto any of the accounts, they don't get any views really. Most of the videos have got less than 1,000 views, so they're just dead accounts. And despite having 40 or 50,000 followers, like each video might get like 2 likes or something. So it's all just fake engagement. But they've only got to scam one person, because these people are sending them thousands. The person that got scammed that told me about it in the DMs was 1,000, but the guy that Neil sent or shared with us, I think he got scammed for a few grand. And if they're doing that all the time, like daily, they must make a lot of money. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it, right? Get away, you met Neil. Yes, Steve. There was quite a few of us. I met Neil, Joubert, Michael from Shifting Shares. I met James from, who was his name? Money Stocker. Rich, who's like Rich Macro Trades. There was a couple of other people in the room that I didn't really get to speak to. I don't really know them. Like Timothy Paul was there. He's a huge creator. Ian, who is ID the Money Man. Yeah, there was quite a few of us. It was really cool. What sort of event was it? So it was put on by this crypto ETP company, 21 Shares. And because they got a new product coming to the market soon, and in the UK, we're just saying you're going to be able to invest in via like the likes of Trading212 into crypto soon, which is very exciting, and via your pensions. So they put it on. They invited like 20 of us via like his social media influencer agency, and we went to the Formula One arcade in London, and we had our own little room, 8 arcade F1 setups, and we were racing and had food and drinks and stuff like that. It was very, very cool. It was the first event I've done as an influencer, so it was quite cool. Chunk, how you doing? Thank you, buddy. Love your content, both tech, finance, truly authentic and genuine. Cheers for the tips. You're welcome. Thank you for stopping by. What's your thoughts on paying more into pension rather than overpay mortgage, mid-40s? Philip, I would say the numbers would say your pension is best, but equally, most people can't retire until they've cleared their mortgage, so it's about striking a balance. I've got, I think I have, on my website, there is a calculator for mortgage overpayments. I don't really promote it because obviously Martin Lewis has got one. I basically just copied his. And so you can figure out your overpayments to make sure that it finishes when you retire, which is quite handy. I worked and paid in 23 years and get £100 a month of all products. 23 years to get 80k is quite something, Dad. Unusual pencil cooks. Yeah. Cheers, mate. I'm going to build some more calculators. In case you missed it, I'm going part-time in October, so I will no longer be working Mondays. So we will start to spit out some new calculators. In particular, I want to create a scenario calculator that would calculate, there's often a debate about pensions versus ISAs and stuff like that. I would like to be able to just put them face to face for like basic rate taxpayers, higher rate taxpayers, and just run some numbers. I think that would be useful content. I think given my childcare reductions that I wasn't expecting, there's probably some space for a calculator around that. Yeah, I just want to build out the site a bit more, really. I've got like 4 calculators, but the one that gets used by a long way is the pension calculator. Obviously, I do videos on that almost daily as well, so that helps. And the drawdown calculator is also closely behind it in terms of popularity. In fact, if I have a look, marking the money, 4 people on there now. Pension calculator this month, 3.3 thousand visitors, and then the drawdown calculator, 1.4. But like the goal calculator has barely been used, 142 times. Mortgage repayment only 93. So that pension calculator is by far and away my greatest calculator on there. So I would like to do a bit more with that. There's also what's missing from here. I'm sure I had a list of things people wanted to include on there. Oh, for it to be in Scotland as well. So I've got the avoid the 40% tax and avoid the 100k tax trap. But actually Scotland's, it doesn't really factor in Scotland's tax system because their 40% starts earlier, I think, in like 44 grand or something. So I need to do that. But yeah, I will try and spend these. Yeah, I'll try and get these lives, get ideas for this stuff. I'm going to try and fill out the site with a bit more content. I'm going to try and put more emails together. Like I've got like 12, almost 1,300 people now on my email list. So I just want to start trying to do the education piece. And I'll make these Monday lives. I've got a little box that goes on this that should sit here, which is like topics, like as if I was like a newsreader almost. I'm going to start like going through topics. So trying to review the personal finance and what's happened in the past week and stuff, whether that's interest rates, the budget, all of those things. And try and like move more into education and actually really helping people. Pension is nearly always better than ISA. It's just the weight. That's it, Hamo. And when you're in your 20s, obviously the stocks and shares ISA is way more appealing because investing directly like that is a bit more fun. But equally, you can just take your money out. But I also see that as a huge downside because why would you want to access your money that is supposed to be for your retirement? Like, I get things happen, but I'm glad that I can't access it. Like, I'd have zero pension now because I'd have used it to clear my debts years ago. Fellas Finance sent me 8 roses. Thank you. I don't know how I missed that, but thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. There's no knowledge for us. Please help working people. Daz, I will try. Cap Jim, thank you. Appreciate you stopping by. Geez, what do you think of Nvidia China? What's Nvidia China? I don't keep up to date with the stock news. Has something happened with Nvidia in China? quieting down. I think we're going to call it there. Note to self, do not compete with Champions League football. Lease or buy a car. I have done both. Actually, I haven't leased, but I've financed a car. Depends, really. Like, if you're young, just get a banger. Banger economics is a thing. But, like, once you've got a family, you need reliability. That's when I decided to finance a car last year. They say, I don't know who they is, but they say you should lease depreciating assets and buy appreciating. So take from that what you will. Best way to save money. Have a robust budget that you can stick to is the best way to start. And then find some money. Save money. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, try and find ways of earning extra money. Nasdaq 100 or S&P or both. Neither. I prefer like a global ETF, which most of those companies are covered in. Right, folks, I'm going to call it there. Useful test stream. Going landscape. Yes, I have got a mortgage. Right. Peace out.